I hope I can be a steward. I hope that can be my title one day, just a steward. And that doesn't have to be towards the land or the people, but overall, I hope that will be who I can be.
Tell us about the first time you met Greg. I just remember thinking he was really a big guy, big beard, big personality.
Larger than life. It's weird. Like I said, I've worked here for 3 years, but I'm still like, this is Greg Johnsman, guys. The first time I met Greg was, I think it was an event for Lowe's Foods. They were setting up their entire local section, all these brands from South Carolina, and nobody cared about anybody else except for Greg. Hey, Greg, Marsh in. And it's still that way. That's what's great about it. From the distributor standpoint, I'm like, we want this guy's product. Yeah, that started the conversation. The rest is history. The products we have, we've got 6 different corns that we do, and each one has a corresponding cornmeal. So you have your grits and then cornmeal. So then obviously we do our rices, Carolina Gold, Charleston Gold, and then the Midlands, which has been huge. And then our Freekeh and Faro, kind of getting into the ancient grains. And then our peas, the trilogy of peas, conch, Sea Island Red, and black eyed peas. Greg calls it his Star Wars of peas. It's his trilogy. So
The bobolink's my arch enemy. That's the one that steals all the rice, so that's why he puts shoes on it, something funny. Just jokes. If you hadn't noticed all the stickers.
Yeah, that's all you?
Yeah, I'm a sticker book. Actually, I have some from Melvin's I needed to put up on the door. Don't have any free fly
We'll get you one.
on the door.
We'll get you one.
You can put one on there.
I know.
It is a product we work with. Most of our barbecue people here.
Can you tell me about growing up?
So spent most of my important years of childhood growing up in the upstate of South Carolina. We had one red light in a little town, wasn't even incorporated. It's just home, it's family. Everybody in the area is still there. And that's where I learned to mill, was third generation miller in the upstate, just made the connection. But when I met Mr. Brock, the guy that taught me to mill, it was just, I wasn't milling, it was just a sense of a friend, of just a mentor, and I didn't even know that at the time. So it was just an ability to hang out, hear stories, tell stories, eat good food, and enjoy life. So milling somewhere was birthed out of all that. Clemson is just now animal and veterinary science. You can't focus on an animal, you have to do all animals. My granddad raised birds, and birds just seemed obvious. So myself and one other gentleman were the last 2 to graduate with a degree just in poultry. And I was finishing up in poultry, and I saw my wife and saw the most beautiful thing in the whole world, and convinced the professor to let me stay for graduate school. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. It's just, I was after the piece of paper with her. It wasn't a piece of paper from Clemson. And when I got married, we moved down to help on her dad's family farm. He was a farmer, and my wife worked 10 times harder than me, just doing all the packing house, all the shipping, all the receiving, anything and everything. And I was just moved to whatever job was needed. When my son was born, he's 13, 2 years prior, we got a mill. I started putting it back together. I had a lot of people tell me, please don't do that. All they saw was the hunk of junk it was, and all I saw was how rare it was and what it could do. I knew what it could do. And I will say, honestly, I never really thought it was more than a hobby. I just thought it was something that we could just add to the mix. My wife was the one that saw the passion and the love of just educating as much as just running a mill. And I never thought we could do anything other than that. So we put it in our roadside market, we call it a little farmer's market, and it was just there for education. I'd run it a little bit just to show people, and we'd sell a little bit, but I already was selling to a lot of chefs. So we already had a larger kind of audience because of vegetables, but it grew so fast. We were just blessed that the milling kind of took off for us, but it was really just in purpose of showing people kind of the process. And I thought everybody knew how to do it.
They started milling as an accompaniment to this market, and they were milling a few days a week, and just, I don't even know if they were selling the grits at first or if they were giving them away. And then, you know, once they saw that sort of the proof of concept that people like these grits and, you know, it's something that they were good at, they grew.
We've got stuff that goes to Per Se, we've got stuff that goes to French Laundry, Chef Sean Brock, Audrey in Nashville, and Chef Russ at Snob, Lewis Barbecue. Like, those are our folks too.
Mills are based off of where running water was for the most part. There was turbines, there was overshot, there was undershot. And in the low country has ebbs and flows from salt water, but they don't really have the ability to have the mills. You go into Virginia, North Carolina, there's mills everywhere because of how the streams and how the water came down. And it was electricity. It died off for multiple purposes. I mean, people didn't rely on the water. Electric came in, other things changed, and mass production, new style mills, roller mills with it to crush and run. It doesn't keep the quality, but it mass produces. So that all started to change, and that community, that sense of community is what I fell in love with, doesn't really exist anymore. When we went through a hard time, yeah, honestly, it's no secret. I about lost everything. I mean, I lost my dad to Parkinson's. I lost my father-in-law to COVID. I was pretty sick with COVID, being overweight and obese and probably depressed. And through that, it's tore my whole family apart. Things have got more difficult the older I've got. I think that my way and the highway isn't right anymore. My control isn't the right way anymore when it was before. My control has got me to where I am, but my control is also going to break everybody and people around me down. And I'm trying to refocus what's important to me. You know, I got 2 boys and blessed to have them, and I put so much of the business forward for so long. To see their freckles and all means more to me than anything now. And I can't go back and change anything, but I know I can move forward and be better. That's what's opened my eyes up. And it sounds like I'm wise. I'm not. I've made a lot of mistakes and a lot of sins. And I just try to treat people the way I want to be treated. And I hope they'll honor and do the same by us. But the ability to kind of honor that time together is what I treasure more and more every day, because all the people, the gentlemen that taught me in the past are already all passed on. I just lost my mentor, but he started me on basic fundamentals and gave me what I needed in the upstate. But down here in this humidity and temperatures and problem of the low country, he gave me the hands that I needed held to start the process. It made me really reflect that there is something more to this. And the main focus they had was to kind of spread God's word while actually milling. So it was an ability to kind of talk to people on a different level. So it is that sense of community that I hope we're trying to keep alive, and I hope that it transcends, but also gives to each person that tries our products.
Man, it's so much more than a business. To see where it comes from, to know what goes into what this company is, it's something special. We're telling a story and sharing stuff from the past, which is huge. I mean, these heirloom grits and grains, and walking through fields that you're like, this is what they ate, you know, generations ago, because we don't change these seeds, and it's special.
I think Greg stands for trying to connect to the good things from the past, like things that would have been otherwise lost. And I think that's sort of what he's tried to keep alive here, is the old processes and sort of the slow way to do things.
It started in just not mass producing, but trying to get it out there. And now I think we're pulling back into what is the mission. The mission is to spread God's word, and we spread it through eating at the table with you. I had a man years ago kind of tell me a story. Was I praying over everything? I said, no, I'm just trying to get it done. And he said, imagine your cornmeal, how many people it feeds. Nobody sits, rarely does somebody sit at their self and have cornbread by themselves. It feeds a group of people, and it's an activity to get together and to bless and to share. And I think that's the thing, is that if we can create another hand to be in the mix is where we want to be. We just want to be part of it. And that's what we built this whole thing on, is that they have an idea of why they're coming to us, and it's to taste something. I hope it's a memory of your grandmother or somebody that cooked cornbread for you and you can't get anymore. And that's what we look forward to the Christmas season, is sharing with people and getting the stories back from them about it. I don't know, man. You just got to have a pair of overalls on and life gets better.
That's a beautiful philosophy.